Hi. Okay. I just blanked out. I couldn't think of anything to say to begin the stream. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is our daily comedy writing stream brought to you by your pals at the Scene Shop. We're an online comedy writing group dedicated to living a life well laughed. And if that's not worthy of a greeting card, I don't know what is. So yesterday we did a little bit of we worked on King Lear 2. The idea was that Shakespeare wrote King Lear while he was in quarantine, so we would do a Hollywood style reboot of King Lear. But it's come to my attention that we're not the only people to have that idea. So, also, yesterday was a bit of a trial, and I was basically just by myself. And I mean, I knew that that was going to happen. I knew that this was going to, if it ever becomes anything that people find useful, then we'll start with humble beginnings. So, humble beginnings. So let's try to just write some comedy today. Now, my friends at the Scene Shop are chatting on Discord. If you'd like to join that conversation, you can find information at sceneshop.us, and you can also chat along just on the YouTube thing here. You should be seeing a chat thing on the stream deal. So let's go to I'm gonna change scenes here. There we go. So that seems probably a little bit small. What if we start just by just writing a joke? I'll get things going by writing a joke. Now, if you've hung around us much, you know that I'm an advocate for writing 5 bad jokes a day. And I say bad because I think oftentimes people get paralyzed when they're looking at a blank sheet of paper and they're trying to do some writing for that day. I think they get a little bit paralyzed thinking, I'm not going to be able to write anything good, and it's always better to be moving forward. You can come back and edit later. So try not to get paralyzed with, having to write something good every time. Just keep moving. Except for you, microphone holder. You stop moving. All right. So, how to write a joke. I'm just going to look at Twitter and see if there's anything. I'm going to see if I can just look at Twitter and try to find something that's sort of remarkable to me. But I'm going to also try not to pick something that is terrifying or makes me angry. I'm not saying those aren't good places to start, but the whole idea of this stream is that we're writing some jokes together and maybe not foaming with rage at all times. Let's see. All my feeds are just people talking about coronavirus. Maybe Reddit will have something new that isn't coronavirus related. I'm just looking for something like a writing prompt. Okay, here we go. Koala bear fingerprints are almost indistinguishable from human fingerprints. A forensic scientist suggested that koala bears were unlikely to be at the scenes of crimes. Okay, but police should be aware of the possibility. I like that, but the trouble with this is I think that the title already contains all of the joke. that a koala bear could be at the scene of a crime. Now I'm imagining somebody who's like, they're robbing a bank and they have a koala bear in a bag, and before they leave, they take the koala bear out and they're holding it by the back. It's wearing a vest and it has a handle in the back. I don't think this would be possible because I think they're pretty heavy, but it's just taking it and touching surfaces with it to sort of mask their their fingerprints. I don't know if that's sort of congruent with the reality of covering up a crime with a koala bear. Maybe you want something that's more like a murder, because that way you've only got one set of fingerprints. Could you train a koala bear to do murder? But then that wouldn't be you. That wouldn't be you using a koala bear as a scapegoat. That would just be you training a koala bear as a weapon. Koala bear fingerprints are almost indistinguishable from human fingerprints. What if you trained, if you added a koala bear, if the koala bear was the only person or the only being whose fingerprints were in your phone, like the touch thing in your phone. So only a koala bear. Yeah. Koalas are breaking into my phone. Thank you, Matt. You were getting there just as I was. I mean, I guess you could use it like if you were messaging somebody that you weren't supposed to be messaging. If you knew that you were somebody who forgets passwords, you could use a koala bear like as your password. And then, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about like if you're, like you're texting your ex-girlfriend or something like that, and you're worried that your current girlfriend is going to open your phone and find out that you've been texting. First of all, just don't do that. Pay attention to whomever you've chosen to be with. I like that. I like the koala bear thing, but I'm not reaching it for the moment. Let's see. I do like the weirdness of that thought, though. Tom Brady to leave the New England Patriots. I don't really know anything about sports. I guess that's remarkable. Ivanka Trump is going to self-isolate and work from home. Not aware that she was doing much anyway. Let's see. It's tough. I mean, the whole reason that I want to do this is that Matt says koala factor authentication. That's a good one, buddy. That's why you make the medium bucks. I mean, the whole reason that we're having this stream is that we're in this weird emergency situation and people are home, but it's also hard to look over the news of the day and find something weird to write a joke about because we're in this emergency situation. Koala factor authentication. That's really good. You know, the thing about the if you had a koala, you know, the way that Facebook and Twitter and everything, like every online thing that you use now is always asking for your phone number or like, and it's pretending that it's for security reasons. Like, oh, for security reasons, we need to double and triple and extra authenticate and get your phone number. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because they know that sooner or later you're going to leave whatever social media thing, like their social media empire could collapse, and they want a way to be able to market to you after that collapse happens. That's why they want your phone number. So to me, like this would be, maybe it's a sketch where first we establish that we're living in a world where koala bears are part of your phone authentication. That would be Act 1. And then Act 2 would be different social medias trying to get their hands on our koala. Because they would want... Because if they got your koala, then they can talk to you. That's solid gold right there, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This stream has been going on for 9 minutes, and I'm just gonna check my phone. Yeah, I haven't been called by. I was just expecting to see that I've been called by NBC to come and write on some some stuff. Netflix, not on the phone. I don't know. I guess they're not koala lovers. Let's see. Maybe I need to. I feel like I follow a lot of comedians and improv people, but right now my feed is all rage at Mitch McConnell and the whole gang. All right, we'll dip back into Reddit. What about Reddit's writing prompts? We'll check that out. Now, I will say that normally I take a dim view of writing prompts because in a way it becomes. I mean, I think it's always good to get practice and experience writing an idea, but it sort of becomes a game in itself. And but let's see if there's anything good here. Solar flare took down the electrical grid. You and your significant other swap bodies. I've seen that Disney movie. Your fridge actually has tormented souls in it. That was part of Ghostbusters. You visit a monastery where the monks don't brew beer, they make meth. But it's seriously good meth, though. I mean, I'm a Belgian beer fan. I can only imagine how much I would like Belgian meth. You go to get a cookbook and you grab the Necronomicon instead. It seems like that has comedy potential. Let's see if we can find any jokes on just jokes. A man gets "I love you" tattooed on his penis. I mean, we've heard that one a million times. You're always trying to put words in my mouth. That's the punchline to that. I won't even look. Yep, that was it. Tried to make a coronavirus joke a while back. That's the setup. Eventually, everyone got it, naturally. Let's see here. 9/11 operator sitting at his desk when she gets a call. This must be a longer joke, yeah. Well, I feel like I'm just going to have to stick with the koala. So let's see if we can come up with something koala related. What would it be like? Maybe it's like I added a koala's fingerprints to my iPhone. That's a terrible pun, Matt. You awful, awful man. These are low quality jokes. I'm not laughing. You didn't see that. Okay, how about this? This is a terrible pun, and I apologize beforehand. Maybe we need to walk people to the joke. I think we do. It's going to make the joke unwieldy, but we'll do it anyway. Form. He's my security branch. You're welcome for that, guys. Security branch. Now, what else? Mm. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to tell people that the about the koala fingerprints and human fingerprints thing. We'd have to walk them to it. Matt just pointed out that that's how you do a monologue joke. He's totally right. He's my security branch. Normally, I'm not a huge pun fan. I mean, I'm not, just because I think it's the kind of thing that plays really well on the internet and maybe in your Twitter feed. But if you go to a stand up, if you go to an open mic and you say sort of witty stuff like that, it doesn't really go over that well. I think in a way, like kind of like people need to see it. So it's almost like when you're writing jokes, that stuff seems to play well. But if you're writing jokes to go and say, then I think it's smart to think about the fact that you're going to say it. Koala fingerprints are indistinguishable from human fingerprints. So I've been using a koala to secure my iPhone. He's my security branch. I mean, that's a groaner. That's just a groaner, guys. What else is remarkable about koalas? They're small. Behold the glorious world of writing comedy. Isn't it hilarious? I'm trying to think what else has been going on. My neighbors came over, or my family and the neighbors were talking in the driveway yesterday, and the neighbor's dog was, running around, and that my neighbors were ready to go back to their house, back across the street to their house, and the dog didn't want to go. It wanted to stay in our yard and run around and jump on us and just be excited because it's a dog. So it just laid down, and my neighbor started to just kind of like roll the dog home, like a living log trying to roll it home. That was pretty great. You know what? I think I'm just going to stop fighting it, guys. Let's write coronavirus jokes. Whitney says maybe a koala chlamydia thing. Yeah, there's certainly a portmanteau of some kind there. What about hoarding toilet paper? What's to be made of that? Why would you hoard? Is there what's maybe there's something else that people do with toilet paper? It seems like you could have a punchline there that's like, my neighbor's been hoarding toilet paper, but I had the last laugh because I ended up wiping my ass with whatever. I mean, there's a political joke to be had there, like everybody's hoarding toilet paper, but in America we've wiped our ass with the Constitution. Whitney's revealed that a case of chlamydia from koalas. Sorry to hear that. I think that's something that you should seek medical attention for. And I'm concerned about you. Social distancing. So the I think a lot of this stuff has been a lot of the easily a lot of the low hanging fruit jokes have sort of been had already. Like there's jokes we've been seeing a lot are boy, there's going to be a lot of coronavirus babies in 9 months because of everybody who's stuck at home. What are we going to call the babies? They're going to be called coronials. Ha 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 ha. And then of course there's the uh, I didn't expect myself to be in this season of The Walking Dead or whatever like that. Um, I've been hoarding toilet paper. I mean, I haven't heard too many people talking about preppers having the last laugh, but it seems like they kind of are. Koalas are the only ones that won't be having coronavirus babies. I don't know. I'm sure they're out there getting it on. I mean, they're a pretty frisky bunch. I mean, they're pretty much always just. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Uh, Tried to hoard toilet paper. Yep, surges in bidet purchases. Um, how about this? My friends keep telling me a bidet is lots better than toilet paper. So what I'm going toward is what I'm thinking is like the person in this joke didn't install the bidet; they just tried to wipe their ass with it. But the plastic corners hurt. And then what about one from the perspective of somebody? The rise of the bum gun. That's funny, Kayla. Um, what about from the perspective of somebody who's always been a bidet person, who's gone even farther with the bidet thing? Um, like uh, I've always been a fan of my bidet, but that might be because I got one that vibrates. Um, Hooked up the air hose into the bathroom. We don't have a bidet, but you can use the compressor to blow it out your ass. Somebody in the chat is saying that before toilet paper, they used goosenecks. Now that I like. uh, Goosenecks. Man, that's funny. How do we make that into a joke though? How do we make the goosenecks into a joke? I mean, you could do like you could do a listicle lens. I'm gonna write your name. That's It sounds plausible. I mean, they used sheep stomachs for condoms, right? So why not goosenecks? Do you use two T's? Yes, you do. Elioit. That's funny. I was trying to think of like hoarding toilet paper. I like goosenecks. I mean, I think the bidet thing is generally just a good idea and more comfortable until the water stops working. How about this? A friend of mine told me I should learn how to use a squat toilet. Uh, hasn't made bowel movements any easier, but I'm up to 3 by 135. Squat toilets. Uh, Squat toilets, guys. Let's see. I misunderstood the instructions. I misunderstood the panic, and I've been whoring for toilet paper. It's unfortunate that you can't just say whoring toilet paper because the four throws things off. You know what I'm saying? Whoring for toilet paper. Here's a setup. Let's try this. I'm going to give you guys a setup and we'll see what we can come up with for punchlines. I know I'm not supposed to touch my face, but so let's see what we can come up with. I know I'm not supposed to touch my face, but that's where I keep my mouth. These boogers aren't going to pick themselves. What's something else that rude that people do with their face? Uh-oh, first sniffle. That's where I keep my mouth. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. You guys will get back to me on that, I'm sure, if you think of anything good. be great if I had one more. I know I'm not supposed to touch my face. How am I supposed to take out my glass eye? That's a good one. Great job, Lens. I was just thinking of like it'll be a waste of cocaine if I can't close one of my nostrils, something like that. I don't know. I think we got there thanks to Lens. How about this? People say we should practice social distancing, but how about this? People say we should practice social distancing, so I've changed some of my habits. For instance, I used to stab people. Now I use a bow and arrow. That's a good one. Crayon paper. Le crayon papier. This feels like a little bit of an unwieldy setup. People say we should practice social distancing. I think we can just get rid of this. I used to stab my victims. Now I use a bow and arrow. That's a good Lens. That's a good. I like the adding the racism to it. I think there's a joke in there that's something along the lines of, like first you want to paint yourself. I think first you would paint yourself as someone who's conscientious, like so the idea here is that, oh, Lens, a spear is even funnier. Yeah, I think a spear is a little bit funnier than a bow and arrow. I don't know why. I guess because it's sort of dumber, you know? Like a bow and arrow is kind of cool looking because you're like, like this. But a spear is, yeah, like that's dumber. That's a good upgrade. We have to take care of everyone now. I practice social distancing. Instead of getting close to them, I stand back and shout insults. So the idea is there is that you used to whisper your insults to people, and now you shout them. It's pretty solid. What about somebody who masturbates on the bus and they're worried that because of social distancing, people won't notice that they're masturbating? So what do? I guess they get a sign that says, like a neon arrow. One problem with social distancing is I like people to be near me. I think we need an even in there. I'm going to call this one the Louis C.K. joke. Yeah, that's another problem. If you're a public masturbator and you're Kayla Kern brings up a good point. If you're a public masturbator and your equipment is of a substandard size, you might have to exaggerate your movements even beyond the point where they're actually effective for you so that people will understand what you're doing. I mean, you're really torn there. As a performance artist, you're torn. It's like the difference between the kind of acting that you would do for the stage and the kind that you would do for the camera when the camera is close. And on camera, an actor would just like a twitch of an eye or something like that would be effective. But on stage, you want to use bigger motions. So I think you bring up a good point. That would be really troublesome. One problem with social distancing is I like people to be near me, even on public transit, so that they can see I'm masturbating. Solid work. Great work, guys. What are some other problems with our current situation? My husband for Mo, that's a bad typo. My husband is a doctor. He says I'm bound to get coronavirus at some point, but I'm one step ahead. I already got it from my boyfriend. I used to be a problem distancer, but after therapy, I became a social distancer. That's a really good joke. I think what if I think what you're I think maybe what about this? I really like that idea. I've got a lot of practice distancing myself from my problems. What do you think about that? Or you could do distancing myself from guilt, distancing myself from responsibility. Um, if we do responsibility, then you could add a little bit of foreshadowing. I was born to be. No, I think we just want I am a. I'm a responsible social distancer. I got a lot of practice distancing myself from responsibility. What do you guys think about that? I think that's pretty solid work. I think this is going a lot better than trying to write King Lear 2. I think the sort of free-flowing, the open nature of this is easier. I'm running out of coffee, though. That's a problem. Yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of somebody who's born to be a social distancer, and I like the turn of going toward distancing yourself from problems. Solid joke. Great joke. I think not impossible, but difficult is almost like a tag. I think we could come up with some ways to make an orgy happen with social distancing. Like, what's the religion where they cut a hole in the sheet? Isn't there? I don't know if this is like an urban myth thing, but I feel like there's a religion where they cut a hole in the sheet and they you put your gear through the hole. But you could. There's a joke there of like, who's laughing now? Ha ha ha. Social distancing has made orgies very difficult. There's that old joke that was there was an old orgy joke that ended with it's just people in a room yelling "fuck you" at one another. Social distancing has made orgies very difficult. You spend all your time washing your hands. Maybe. I mean, there's a punchline there that's like, I've always been good at telling people to go fuck themselves. I don't know. There's also some material to be had there about how all the porn on Pornhub is incest porn. It's like, since everybody has to stay home, it's made orgies really difficult. But my family doesn't seem to mind because we're from Alabama. I don't know. I don't know how much we want to write incest humor. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's funny or just disgusting. Not that they're necessarily mutually exclusive. I think the social distancing, I mean, there is a lot of comedy there, though. Makes orgies really difficult. I feel like there's a punchline there that's like, but it's made something really easy. Like, it's made orgies really difficult, but. All right, how about this? What about a punchline where, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work, but I'm thinking along the lines of a punchline where at least my Uber drivers finally stopped talking to me. You know, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about a joke. I'm just gonna write it out. This is gonna be dumb. You guys are gonna hate it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Uh, I learned that it's smart, but the word is still out on farting into your knee. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Excuse me for snortling on the mic. I learned that it's smart to cough into your elbow, and then there's a joke of like um, coughing into somebody else's elbow. That reminds me of the Steve Martin joke of on the first on that show that he did with Martin Short, where he's saying, "I was in the bathroom just now, and there was a sign that employees should wash your hands." And as I was finishing up, I looked around, and there was no one in there to wash my hands. Obviously, Steve Martin's master. Uh, I've been working on. This one's going to be mean. You guys are going to be mad at me for writing this. Now I don't have to spend any time with my son. I don't have a son. Just to let you guys know. Um, I'm thinking about like, yeah, my neighbors are upset at me when I come over to rob them. No, my neighbors are upset at me for practicing. They call it breaking and entering. It's just smart social distancing, guys. Simple. Yeah. Lens, thank you. I like the peeps pun. There's always room for a peeps pun. uh, I think we'd have to make sure to walk people to what peeps are, because they might not know that you mean the mushroom, not mushroom, but the marshmallow candy. Let's think. Let's try to get a few more going. The stream has been going for 49 minutes now. We got some good jokes written here. We'll try to get a few more. Let's see. Just trying to think of some more social distancing jokes. I think it was dumb for me to try to fight writing coronavirus and social distancing type jokes like this because we've gotten a lot of humor out of it. I mean, when I started this,